This is Luke Paulson, the Catholic Conservative, and welcome to the news of the week for
July 23rd, 2023.
And if you enjoy these videos, do not forget to like, comment, and most importantly, subscribe for more.
Culprit forever unknown. The Secret Service has completed its investigation into the cocaine. To the surprise of absolutely no one at all, no culprit was officially named. Now, normal people have suspicions as to who it was that left the cocaine. However, it is probably going to be flagged as fake news that it was said person soon. I would like to propose a hypothetical for all of you. If the Secret Service cannot figure out who dropped cocaine outside of the Situation Room, would they be able to figure out who dropped a flash drive? Would they be able to figure out who dropped a classified folder? They would be able to determine either of these within the day and be knocking on that person's door. However, if they have to protect someone, that is another issue. Downgrading slavery. Democrats and deep state operatives have been removing protections for trafficking victims. And their border crisis has made it even worse. Project Veritas exposed that the HHS was complicit in placing these illegal children in unsafe homes. It is no wonder that the fake news is trying to downplay Sound of Freedom. Their party is complicit in the biggest child trafficking scheme in modern history. But tell us more about slavery from 200 years ago and how that is ruining your life today. Whereas modern day slavery that can be stopped in the modern day, they will go nowhere near that. Is AI the future? If the writer's strike or the actor's strike in Hollywood goes on too much longer, we are going to have a serious problem on our hands. How else will there be television and movies that can be used as propaganda pieces for the Democrat Party? I decided to play around with an AI program the other night. I fed it a synopsis of a classic Twilight Zone episode and got some very good results. The idea of an army of writers to do the job might not make it into the future. The AI can even be programmed to put in political messages. However, let us take AI to its only logical conclusion. We have all seen the kiosks at fast food places because of minimum wage increases. Are there any companies that are considering using AI at the drive-thru? Even without science fiction movies warning us, we have opened a can of worms, Pandora's box, and let the genie out of the bottle, and none of them are going back in. A white Latina. After Peter Dinklage made a stink about dwarves being hired, thinking that he would always be picked first, the live-action version of Snow White features only one dwarf. Ironically, it is not Dinklage, and so he counted his chickens before they hatched. Either way, Snow White is now played by a Latina actress, so now she is Snow Brown. Either way, they are putting minorities into European folktales. If Europeans were put into folktales of any other continent, there would be backlash. On the right, you will see just a few stories from Latin America that could be adapted to film rather than race swapping. Limited government is fascism. Circleback Saki and the Southern Poverty Law Center, who both spew fake news, have decided that groups like Moms for Liberty are hate groups. Officially, it is because they ban books and want to get on school boards. The second one should be a goal of anyone who wants to right the ship of state. But the first one is selective misinformation. It is like saying that your dad works in a hospital to get your friends to think that he is a doctor, when in reality his job may have nothing to do with medicine. The books that are being banned have explicit pornography in them. Generally, when someone wants to hand pornographic images to children, they would be arrested. However, if they work for the school, they can get a former press secretary and hate mongers to defend them. The group is even being compared to Nazis. Since when is wanting limited government the same as fascism? If you really think that the two are exactly the same,
I got some boots from property in Arizona. From my front porch you can see the sea.
military kills babies. When abortion was sent back to the states, the federal government no longer had any jurisdiction over abortion. That seems clear-cut and without a need for debate. However, the armed forces decided that if their staff and soldiers needed to kill a child, that they would circumvent the Supreme Court and just pay for abortions regardless. Senator Tuberville of Alabama realized that this was not right. He is single-handedly holding up military nominees that need Senate approval. Normally, these are done en masse without any debate. However, thanks to Senator Tuberville, the now 250 candidates have to go through one at a time. Tuberville would probably stop objecting if the military stopped killing children. However, Democrats need to kill children for reasons that I do not quite understand. Yet another indictment. President Trump has been indicted again. This time over the mostly peaceful protest of January 6th. Despite the fact that he told the people to peacefully and patriotically protest, despite the fact that they were let in, despite the fact that others were given a tour, despite the fact that he told the people to go home, somehow he is still to blame. Trump derangement syndrome just keeps getting worse and worse. However, the more they indict President Trump, the more support he gets. And the more they indict President Trump, the more money he raises. The liberal media created President Trump, and I am just enjoying the bitter irony. Threads loses engagement. The newest Twitter alternative is Threads, and despite a huge number of interactions in the first week, the number of interactions has dropped off significantly. Created and controlled by Facebook, it is everything that you love about Twitter, except with the censorship of Facebook on steroids. The interactions with the site during the first week were from people securing a spot and username, as well as people signing up that were then banned from using the platform. In other words, so many people that signed up were removed over trivial matters. You normally do not get business if you throw your customers out the door. Does anyone fear Brandon? That is not a rhetorical question. Do any of our enemies fear Brandon? Do any of our allies respect Brandon? The answer is no to both. Well, children fear Brandon. Meanwhile, according to Dan Bongino, in President Xi's last 3 speeches, he told his people to prepare for war. If he invades Taiwan, every first world nation on Earth, including America, will be forced to choose a side. Will this be like Ukraine, where we are not directly involved until it is revealed that we are? Will it be like the Middle East, in which we have a perpetual military presence? Will it be World War III with all of us against each other?
Only Poppins would know.
After all, the problem of communism was left unsolved by World War II and the Cold War. Either way, we need a president that is feared by both the deep state and our enemies. But who could ever do such a job? Affirmative action teachers. One of the main reasons that I am against affirmative action is because I want the most qualified person to get the job. Imagine the person that is in charge of your heart surgery that got the job not based on merit but melanin. Imagine the person that is in charge of building a plane that got the job not based on merit but melanin. Imagine the person that is in charge of teaching your child getting the job based on melanin. Skill and merit are what needs to matter. In New York, teachers of a higher melanin concentration did worse on the test to become teachers than did those of a lower melanin concentration. According to New York, this has absolutely nothing to do with merit, but has everything to do with racism. These victims of imaginary racism were awarded $1.8 billion. They will then be giving identical tests to children and will then call those tests racist as well. And the cycle will continue indefinitely. Maybe I'm just blowing smoke. Maybe I'm completely off my rocker, but that is just my opinion. Now don't forget to like, comment, and most importantly, subscribe for more. But before you go, on the left I have last week's video, but you may also enjoy the video on the right.